Ashley Fox, did you vote for the suspension of EU membership talks with Turkey?
No, my group abstained on this resolution. We think it's unhelpful because we regard Turkey as a strategic ally, important in NATO. We don't want to push them towards Mr. Putin. But at the same time, we are really concerned about what is happening in Turkey at the moment, the arrest of journalists, the arrest of opposition MPs. But the main opposition party in Turkey say this is unhelpful in their help to re-establish, they're trying to re-establish democracy in Turkey. This move is unhelpful.
Do you not need to make a stand, though, against the things you have just listed? I mean, 471 to 37. I mean, I know you abstained, yes, but most MEPs voted to suspend those talks.
We regard this megaphone diplomacy by the European Parliament as unhelpful. We want to carry on talking to the Turks, explain that they are important to us, but that we want them to come away from the autocratic system that they're developing.
Gerard Batten, which way did you vote?
We abstained for a good reason, which is that this is non-legislative resolution. It has no effect. You called it symbolic.
It's not binding.
I would call it pointless. And of course, it only temporarily freezes and everything will be all right in the future. Now, Turkey doesn't even fulfil the EU's own criteria for being a member. It certainly isn't a European country. Whenever there is a progress report on Turkish entry, which there is every year or so, we always vote against it, the UKIP MEPs. And of course, the Conservative, Labour, Lib Dem, I believe the Greens, always vote for it.
Right.
And I'm surprised at Ashley's position because the Conservative Party haven't decided they're leaving the European Union. Why would you bother to tell the EU whether that Turkey should be a member at some point in the future?
You would like Turkey to be a member at some point in the future?
No, I wouldn't. And in fact, I think a majority of Conservative MEPs don't see that happening.
So why have these accessions? So why support accession talks at all?
It is a channel of communication to Turkey to encourage them along a democratic path.
Right, and the point of that is that Erdogan is extremely important. His country is sitting in an extremely important position, and he has already said that if this were to become binding, and I take your point that it's not at the moment, that he would open the borders and allow the migrants that he has taken in from the Middle East across into Europe.
Yes, but why are we leading Turkey up the garden path? They've been trying to join for 30 years. We had these continual progress reports that the Conservatives vote in favour of, including the Conservative
because
MEPs
it probably suits the Turkish politicians as much as the other politicians.
No intention of letting them in anyway.
Is there no intention of anybody in the European Union
to... It's been going on for 30 years now, and they're less, they even less fulfil the criteria for membership now than they did 10, 15 years ago. They're going backwards in terms of human rights and democracy.
So, of course, it was always false to say during the referendum campaign that accession was just about to happen.
Well, you have to ask the Conservative, Labour and Lib Dems who always voted for Turkish
No, but I'm asking
accession.
you, it was incorrect, wasn't it, to always claim that Turkish accession and 75 million Turks were coming across the border into Europe, because as you have just said, it's never going to happen.
It was true that they are being asked to apply and that every time we have a progress report is voted in favour. So it was legitimate of us to say if they did join, then 75 million people would have the right to come here.
Is it a worry that Erdogan could use the stick of opening up the borders, even if this is not a binding vote against the European Union?
That is one of many worries. So is Turkey's move towards an autocratic system. It's very worrying that 100,000 people in the army and the civil service have been purged from their jobs since the coup in July. So I think we need to maintain a strategic dialogue with Turkey, and this megaphone diplomacy from the European Parliament is really very unhelpful. What we need is to establish a proper talks with Turkey about where their position is in relation to the European Union. I very much doubt that is full membership, and I don't suppose that would ever get through the European Parliament.